All right, guys. How you doing today? I'm accompanied by my friend Juwan over at Geek Vibes Nation, and we're going to do a quick reaction to the newest. When did this drop? 2 days ago?
No, yesterday. Well,
Are you serious?
yes.
No,
Yeah, yesterday. Yesterday.
it's only been a day.
I think it's only been a.
Holy shit, dude!
Was it yesterday? Shit,
I
you
think it
making me
was
not.
yesterday. I think it was. Oh, today is Wednesday. Yeah, no, yes, it was yesterday.
Okay, yeah.
But it was yesterday earlier in the day. You know what it is? I did so much yesterday, and that's why I wasn't able to come on your reaction because I was out. So it
Mhm.
just between yesterday and then doing whatever I was doing around the house earlier today, it just seems like 2 days. So
I could have
that's my
sworn
fault.
I did much to do about nothing with Joel on Monday, and I could have sworn we talked about it. Is this not Sunday? Maybe it was yesterday. I'm okay. I'm sorry. I need to
Uh,
hurry up and just get out of 2021. That's
It's fine. Well, we only got a couple of days for that too. Well, according to me, that it would be just tomorrow, I guess. I don't know. My days are all off. Anyway, so yeah, so they just dropped the second trailer, but
nope.
technically there was
Nope.
one before. Yeah, because there was the international one before this, right?
Well,
And are
no,
you
no, no,
counting the fandom? You're counting the fandom trailer.
no. The two fandom trailers.
Which two fandom trailers?
Fandom from last year,
Oh, and then this year. Yeah.
this year, and then this.
So we got the one from a year ago, and then we
Hmm.
got the fandom trailer. I forgot. They released this second full trailer this year,
Hmm.
fandom.
Yep.
Then we get an international trailer.
They don't count that because they classify this as number 3.
And then we got this is number 3. Correct.
Yeah.
So this is our third full trailer. I did get to see. I've seen the other 3 as well,
Mhm.
which I'm going to get into in a minute because I do have a question for you. So I'm going to go over that. Let's watch this. Let's react to it. Let's have fun with it.
I'm ready to cry.
Bruce Wayne,
Sorry?
I wouldn't be bothering you here, but your people keep telling me you're unavailable. You know, you really could be doing more for this city. Your family has a history of philanthropy, but as far as I can tell, you're not doing anything.
The Riddler is asking for you.
The killer left this for the Batman. Why is he writing to you?
You came. I've been trying to reach you.
Riddler's latest. It's all about the Waynes. If we don't stand up, no one will.
You got a lot of cats.
I have a thing about strays. The bat and the cat. It's got a nice ring.
You a new friend of yours?
I'm not so sure. I'm just here to unmask the truth about this cesspool we call a city. You're part of this too. Stay still! How am I part of this? Oh, you're really not as smart as I thought you were. Bruce Wayne. All these years, you lied to me, Alfred. We all have our scars, Bruce.
You're still a Wayne.
He's involved in this? No, he's not involved.
How do you know? He's a vigilante!
Who are you under there? What are you hiding?
Selina, don't throw your life away.
Don't worry, honey. I got 9 of them.
It can be cruel, poetic, or blind. But when it's denied, it's through violence you may find.
Justice. The answer's justice.
Come on, vengeance. Let's get into some trouble.
All right. Let me X out of this.
Oh wow, yes.
Hold on. So, obviously, I know you did a reaction on your channel, to which I said I was unable to participate, but I did watch your reaction, and I was listening to, what you and the rest of the guys were talking about. actually, while I was in my car, I tried to comment as much as I could. I love this trailer as much as I love the other ones, and this trailer does show us a little bit more, but at the same time, there's still obviously there's so many things we don't know. We can either speculate or we can go by the comics or whatever. We are speculating, we are theorizing that this is possible an introduction to the Court of Owls, possible ties, with the Wayne family in there. Uh, there's another thing that I heard, and I wanted to get your take on it. There's a rumor and a theory that it goes a little bit deeper than that. Yeah, the Court of Owls might exist, or it could be a part of this, but also the role that the Riddler plays in this film and who he is in regards to Batman, or maybe even who he thinks he is. Doesn't even have to be that it's true. He could have been misinformed. But the theory is, and there's solid evidence in the international trailer, it's not in this trailer, that he might be the half brother of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, your feedback on that, whether you think that's a possibility, and do you like that?
Well, I like it. I like it a whole hell of a lot more than when we thought Joker was going to be Bruce's half brother, and it was just like,
that's what I thought, and that's what everybody was assumed, or that's what they were kind of like nodding to. And I'm glad they didn't go that route.
I'm so glad they didn't. Yeah. But in the comics, Talon, the head of
yes,
Owls, was Bruce's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with it. I mean, is it something that I need? No, I don't need it to go that deep. I need it to maybe go as deep as Dwayne screwing over his family, and instead of living up to the promise Bruce's father made, which was to bring Edward in, he kind of cast him aside.
And also, too, one of the things that we're pointing to is the whole renewal. That the renewal was a lie, and that I think had to do with the orphanage that he was in.
Right.
So that's another thing that he felt like he wasn't taking care of. Here you got, Bruce Silver Spoon, brought up with all the luxuries and everything, and then you got Edward, who has nothing.
Well, my theory when we broke this down yesterday was that I believe Bruce's mother, I believe Martha, had an affair.
Okay.
And in that affair, Edward came. And there was no way in hell Thomas Wayne was letting that get
That makes more sense.
So Thomas Wayne said, absolutely not. And she loved him, so she tried to do her best to take care of him the best that she could. But when Thomas said enough, that was it. It was enough. There was no more giving him money, attention, couldn't see him anymore, couldn't see Bruce, because it started to just bring up too many questions Thomas didn't want to have to answer. I mean, they were literally the faces of Gotham. So to find out that either one of them, and I don't want to put this just on Martha, but either one of them might have had an affair, was just horrible for the brand.
Of course. No, but it makes more sense, though, because if you look at the trailer that I was talking about, the one before this, the international one, when you look at some of the background photos that was given to Bruce, or just in the background in general, her eyes are the only ones that aren't scratched off. So that means that she's being highly regarded. So it would make sense that he favors, if that is in fact Edward's doing, that he favored her over the father.
Right. So, I mean, look, it could have been Bruce that did it. Could have been Bruce that did it. I'm not saying that it is. It makes more sense that it was Edward.
It could be.
But yeah, again, this is supposed to be his beginning. So I even love that we get a riddle and an answer to the riddle in this trailer to kind of show you Bruce being that ultimate detective that he should have always been throughout the history of Bruce Wayne. And it's the question we've heard from the first trailer we got. The riddle about justice. So to me, I can't say enough how monumental this movie will be, and why I keep telling people there should not ever be a point in time where we don't have a Batman movie. Ever.
I mean, I can't disagree.
This good.
Yeah.
I love it. And like I said yesterday, everyone keeps feeling like, oh my God, we've seen like everything we could see. Like, stop showing stuff.
What?
We don't know anything about Penguin.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about Falcone.
Yeah.
Like, we also still don't know why Nigma wants to go after Bruce. We're theorizing.
We're theorizing, but we don't know that. Exactly.
There's still so much more left. And people are theorizing Joker's somewhere in one of these cuts. So I'm
Yep.
like, there's so much more to this movie, which is why I don't care. TV spots, whatever they put out, I will watch, because even if everything they showed me was the whole movie,
Mhm.
I still will go into that movie very fresh and just eat up everything that they give me, because Batman's back. Like
Yep.
real Batman, like a
Mhm.
real Batman. I love this. I loved everything about it. The visuals, the soundtrack, the score. Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman looks flawless. I just can't thank Matt Reeves enough. I'm sorry, Josh.
So before we get into this trailer itself, because I mean, this trailer is, it showcases some things, but it's more to showcase, the Bat and Cat,
Right.
their relationship, which is key, especially in the comics between him and Selina Kyle. My question to you, though, really quick about, Edward, his
Mhm.
relationships with either Bruce. That this is the question I'm going to ask.
Mhm.
Because Batman has a rogue gallery of villains,
Mhm.
and that was the whole thing with him in the comics. He's got there's many of them, but the main go-tos have always been the Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and a few other people, right? You could say
Mhm.
Mad Hatter, but I don't even know about him. But just in general, those are the top.
Yeah.
How are you, especially if this is a year 2 Batman?
Mhm.
Are you okay with the Riddler knowing? Because I'm asking this because I really am not even sure. I think I do, but I'm not really sure about the relationship between Batman and the Riddler in the comics. But do you think it's too early in their stages that Batman's true identity is known?
Well, this isn't like Iron Man where the whole world knows.
No, I'm talking about just
Um,
between the Riddler and him. The fact that a villain knows it.
I'll say this: it could be a throw off. They're splicing scenes with audio.
Right.
We
Yes.
don't know that it's exact. Like, we don't know Bruce walking into the prison to sit down with Edward. The
Mhm.
first thing Edward says is "Hello, Bruce." Like, we don't know that they're connected.
Right. Right.
But if Edward does know,
Mhm.
my curiosity is more so, what does Bruce do to ensure that that is the only person, or the last person, rather? I'm sorry, not only, the last person that knows his identity. The only reason I'm somewhat okay with it is part of me, Joe, if I'm being honest with you,
Mhm.
part of me wants Selina to find out who's under the cow. I want to see how deep they go in the relationship between Bruce and Selina, because in the comics they dated. He loves Selina. Selina knew who Batman was.
Yeah. No, I know.
He trusted her with it. So I'm curious how far they go. I don't need it, but if Riddler knows, I don't have a problem with the love of Batman's life knowing.
Which takes us to this trailer now, because now there's an actual scene, right? When they're I don't know exactly where they are. It looks like a club, but I don't even know if it's a club. It's a darkly lit place, and he's without his cowl. He's walking around just with eye makeup and a hood.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's shown again, it could be just the way it's cut. When it doesn't really necessarily mean that's where Selina is, but it's implied that she's there as well fighting.
Right.
And that's why he's there.
Mm-hmm.
So does she know? Is he really, you know what I'm saying? What made him, unless it was like some emergency, he didn't have his he couldn't get to his cave or wherever he has to go to suit up, that he had to attend or, go to maybe even her rescue. Or maybe he's even stalking or following her just for her safety.
I think it's more so following her.
Yeah.
I think it's following her, and you don't want to go into a club filled with people as Batman.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think there is a connection here. I think you can connect that party to the scene where Penguin goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Take it easy."
Yeah.
I think they're in Falcone's club or nightclub.
Makes sense.
And he's trying to investigate as Bruce Wayne on the low. That's why he has his hood up and everything.
Yeah.
And I think he suits up again inside that club, and that's where a lot of those fight scenes comes from. And then she suits up. I told you before, I think her whole angle in this is she's trying to take down Falcone from the inside, but Falcone raised her.
Yeah.
I think I think you can probably compare what Catwoman's story will be in this to what we just saw from Echo, to where Falcone raised her, but Falcone is the reason she was an orphan to begin with. She
Makes
killed
sense.
her father, and Selina always had a feeling that he was behind the death of her father, and she's trying to take him from the inside out. And then Bruce finds out, and that's why I think Bruce is saying, you got to be careful. Like, if they find out you're involved, they'll kill you.
Wait a minute. Now, hold on a second. Because I'm just thinking out loud here. That whole thing that's drawn out on the floor, and we've seen this in the other trailers as well. Sins of my father. We're all I at least thought at first, I'm sure you did, that's Bruce doing some detective work.
Yeah.
Could that be the sins of her father?
No, because she said, and again, well, let me not say no. Let me not say no. I'm sorry. I don't think so, because in this trailer, she even says it looks like they're gunning down the Waynes. And that's all you hear of that from the trailer. So I think she's telling Batman they're going after Gotham's elite. Like, I think Bruce Wayne is next. And I think she's part of Bruce's puzzle that he ultimately has to piece together before solving the ultimate riddle here. But I thought the most powerful scene in this whole trailer was Bruce telling Alfred, you lied to me all this time. You know, essentially, you had me believe my dad was this great man, and he wasn't. And I love Alfred saying, like, it just, essentially, I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing here. He's just essentially saying, it wasn't my place. It wasn't my place. If it wasn't,
he said, you lied to me. I thought he said he lied to us.
No, I think Alfred was alluding to the fact of because the whole premise of this is supposed to be, because this was in the Telltale games, was Alfred knew a lot of their dirty laundry.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
But he's not going to tell a 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old Bruce Wayne,
of course not,
what dirt his father was into. So at that point, you kind of just go, if you're Alfred, well, if I didn't tell him now, I'm just probably never going to tell him, unless I'm on my deathbed,
Yeah.
So at that point, Bruce finding out, Alfred's just like, oh, yeah, well, your dad was horrible. So, like, well, he's pretty bad. He was into some stuff. So again, we might have to rewatch it again, but I do believe the line was,
it could be, yeah.
You lied
probably
the whole time.
There was one other thing that was going to go over with this. I forgot what we were talking about, Selina. Now I can't remember. But yeah, look, as I said, especially from the second trailer, I'm sorry. First one that debuted in last year's fandom was good. It was. The Nirvana song that was used, the tone of it, everything about it, I enjoyed. And obviously the second trailer showed us a little bit more, and it got me even more hyped and more into this. I agree. This is probably going to be one of the better, if not the best Batmans that we've gotten.
Hands down.
Live action.
Hands down.
My only worry, and I think I said this in your reaction as a comment, my only worry is WB's track record. I'm trying to taper my expectations. If it comes out the way this trailer is showing us, it's going to be phenomenal. There's just no way it can fail. But I still worry.
What do you mean by that? Have you not liked anything they've put out in the last few years?
For the most part, I think Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one, and then that's it.
Really?
That's it. Wonder Woman 84 was horrible. Probably I think the worst DC film that they put out.
They put out ever?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, part of the DCEU, I'm saying, not part of...
No. That's what I mean. I still think that's a wow.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 84
you enjoyed
was definitely...
Suicide Squad more than you did 84.
I did, yeah, which is crazy. Wow. I have it somewhere, but... No, but my point is, like, there were a lot of misses. There were obviously some hits. The Joker standalone film, I thought was great. Probably up there.
You have to view this in that vein then, because
the problem is that's not even considered DCEU. That's the problem.
No. But that's what I'm saying. This isn't either. This isn't continuity. This is elsewhere.
No. I know. I'm not really. It's not really necessarily about continuity, and I correct myself. Aquaman is my least favorite. Then Wonder Woman 84. then Suicide Squad. When did Shazam come out?
2018 maybe.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my top. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of, for me, there's been a lot of misses. There's been a lot of misses, visually stunning films, visually stunning.
I think Warner Brothers from Man of Steel to now has only had 2 major misses. Justice League and that first Suicide Squad. That was it.
See, I just feel like anything Snyder did, just take out, and then maybe the universe is a little bit better.
I can't agree. Like that's why I say it's a very weird relationship in my mind I have with the Snyder films, because you say that, but I don't want to picture these DC movies without Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, and Ben Affleck, and those are all Zack's decisions.
I know.
I'm sorry, Jason Momoa and Ezra, all 6 of them were all Zack Snyder decisions.
I know, and with the exception of Cavill, because he's the only one that I think fit well. Besides, all right, I stand corrected. Most of them I do. It's not about the actors playing the characters. Not for me. I didn't say, well, you know what? I didn't like Justice League because I didn't like the actors. I didn't like Wonder Woman because, or why I should say Wonder Woman 84 because of Gal Gadot. It has nothing to do with that. I didn't like them because I didn't like the story. I enjoyed Man of Steel. I did. It's definitely better than Superman Returns 2006.
Anything's better than that.
My problem was not the first half of the film and the build-up. It was the second half of the film. I just feel like those were just too. I enjoyed it so much, leading up to like his role as Clark, and and seeing what he was doing and seeing how he was trying to hide his abilities, and the relationship between him and Kevin Costner, and the role that he played. Just the reason why I'm saying Kevin is I can't think of the dad's name.
I just call him Pa Kent. So
Clark. And obviously the mother's Martha, and
I call him Pa Kent.
Just say Pa Kent. Anyway, I loved it. And then when Zod finally comes to Earth and looks for him, which Zod was menacing. I love Zod's character, and obviously the actor that portrays him. But it was once they started battling and just the destruction in the city, that's where it lost me. It was just like, I don't know. It's small nitpicks, but at the same time, I love the first half of Man of Steel. I love Henry Cavill. I think he is Superman. But other than that, I just feel like they didn't do him justice, pun intended. And then there was a few other things I had a misses with. Personally, it's personal. There are people that think Aquaman's one of the best DC films that were made. I don't. So
I don't either, but it's easily visually the best.
No,
DC.
visually, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. No, visually, yes.
Yeah, I mean, did I like them shooting their load? Like Aquaman doesn't have a rogues gallery or a large one, so you shooting your wad with 2 of his biggest in the same movie. Of course, I didn't like that. Could you have used Black Manta a little bit better than you did? Of course, you could have. But to me, like I said, I have a deep love for DC over Marvel. So when I watch these movies, I watch it for the things that I think are good. And to me, outside of Suicide Squad and Justice League, there are just even Suicide Squad, maybe to a degree. I'm not going to get into that, but my issues with that are deeper. But to me, I think they've done a lot more good in the entirety of these DC movie runs than they have bad. Like I said yesterday, unfortunately, the bad is just so glaringly bad. Like when you watch Justice League and then Snyder's cut, you go, oh my God, this theatrical cut is so bad.
And that's the one, and that's what I wanted to really quickly retract from what I said, because I said something about Snyder. The only thing I will give Snyder, and the best thing that came from the Snyder cut, besides a better Cyborg and a better use of Cyborg, was the tone of the film. And if you would have taken that Aquaman and not James Wan's Aquaman, the goofy Aquaman, and put that Aquaman and stuck tonally throughout the films and throughout the universe, then I'd be like, you know what? That movie probably would have been a little bit better, because visually stunning, yes. But it just, for me, like there were jokes when it didn't need to, like, I don't know.
But that's not Arthur. That's why bringing in Jason Momoa to me was going to be so much fun, and why I was looking forward to him not being in the hands of Zack, is that Zack makes characters dark that are not dark. You can't tell me in a Man of Steel movie, oh, well, my S stands for hope, and your movie is so glaringly dark. That's not who Aquaman is. That's why I'm like, I don't want any more of Zack's vision. I've enjoyed it for what
No,
it
I'm
is.
with you on that.
Aquaman, again, what was the biggest thing for Aquaman? He was a running joke. He was more humorous. His stories aren't uber dark. So I'm like, I don't want that serious Aquaman. I want to have fun with these movies. I want you to remove it, make him more comical. The only person in this Justice League that should not crack jokes is Batman.
Yeah.
That's it. Everyone else should be lighter. And his world was so fucking dark.
I agree. No,
That's
you're not
all
going
I'm
to get
saying. So,
you're not going to get a disagreement there.
there's essences of what Snyder was doing. I'm like, okay, yeah, pretty cool. But overall, I trust Warner Brothers because, like I said, they, in my opinion, have more hits than misses. But I can understand how, to some people, when they miss spectacularly. Like, it's just all-time great.
And Wonder Woman is a really good example of that, because you take the first Wonder Woman that came out in 17. I love that film. It's one of my favorite films that DC put out, or Warner Brothers put out rather. And then you got Wonder Woman 84. And it was just, it's like night and day. Like I only watched it once. I can never watch it again. That's how bad it was.
My only problem with that movie was its script. Nothing, like, it was perfect. There was the sun. It was light outside. Diana was more open-hearted, more loving. She was, she was within the world. You get to see her working in what she does. I love that. It was only when you tell me that my main villain is a genie, and I'm like, what?
Well, that was the issue with Suicide Squad. The first Suicide Squad failed and suffered because, mainly, I think, because I enjoyed the most of the film, was not its characters, but was its villain. It was horrible.
Okay, yeah. See, that's where we separate. My issue was the characters.
Oh, see,
if you knew your villain was that, you can't tell me that your villain is that, and your team consists of guns, boomerangs, a bat, and then a guy who does rope, and then one person who can turn into fire, and then an alligator. No. That was a horribly assembled team.
But it wasn't just the team, though. It was also because they took the Enchantress and they made her, I don't even know what they made her into. She was literally dancing at the end.
No disagreements on how horribly they failed with that character. But what I'm saying is, you should have went the route David wanted to go, where Joker was your big bad.
Okay.
And that way, all this ensemble of characters work better.
So we're saying the same thing, but we're kind of saying the same thing. I was faulting the big villain, the big bad at the end. If you change that out, I'm saying get rid of Enchantress. Then it makes.
I don't disagree, but I'm also saying I would have changed that roster.
I didn't mind the roster. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did prefer the ones that we got in James Gunn's version, but I didn't mind them, especially not Will Smith's character.
No. Will Smith and Margot Robbie were probably the only things I would keep.
What about Boomerang? No Boomerang?
No. There's so many reasons why I didn't want Boomerang part of
What
this.
about what's his face? The one that ended up actually dying in the second one.
Boomerang was the only one from that original team that died in the second one.
No. Peacemaker kills him at the very end.
Oh, well, I don't consider him part of the Suicide Squad. He's more like their liaison.
He's their yeah. Well, in the first one, he was their, what do you call, almost like their parole officer.
Right. Yeah.
What's his name?
Rick Flag.
Flag. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind Flag come back.
He's not really part of the Suicide Squad to a degree. So that's why I wasn't even thinking him. Like, I of course keep him. I thought he was good for what they gave him. But yeah, so I trust Warner Brothers. This looks great. Again, like I said, the fact that they made Joker work and let him make the movie he wanted to make lets me have all the faith in the world that they said, Matt, just do the Batman movie you want to do.
Well, the advantage here, and this is why I do have hope. The advantage here is they're not tied to a continuity. You know what I'm saying? They're not, they can build if they want outwards, but they're not stuck or cuckolded to a universe like a DCEU. They can do their own thing, just like the Joker did. It's not tied to anything.
But I do want to say, people make that sound like a handicap. That's
sometimes it is. Sometimes
never a handicap.
Because I'll tell you why. Because then you're confined to the structure of what either is going to come or of what was done. So that's how you get continuity errors.
But here's how all that's thrown out of the window. Two perfect examples. One DC, one Marvel. Okay. When you watch Shazam, it was a newspaper clipping, the Batarang,
right?
Then an end credit scene. Outside of that, nothing of that movie screams anything else that's happening in the DCEU.
Exactly.
Right? You go Black Panther. Till you see White Wolf in that end credit scene, nothing else of that movie screams MCU. It's not pushing a narrative. Now, where I will say where it becomes a problem is when a movie seems like it only exists to further a narrative, a la Captain Marvel. That movie seemed like they were only trying to throw in so much for you to go, okay, first Avenger, okay, that's how she's here, blah, blah, blah. That's when it's just like, well, you're force feeding me continuity. But that's like so few far in between. It worked so perfectly. Shang-Chi, nothing of that was screaming in your face, hey, you have to see what came before this or directly what's after this. It felt so separate, but it just places itself in the MCU. So to me, it's never a handicap if you have a world planned out and you go, okay, I'm doing a Batman movie. What can I just drop in there that lets people know that his Batman at some point can interact with her Wonder Woman? Oh, perfect. I know. I just have the TV on and they're talking about Princess Diana saving blah blah blah, or the attack with Superman and Man of Steel. Like, that's all you have to do. I'm never saying I need Superman to show up. I never need you to say Justice League. I don't need any of those things. I'll take something as simple as, because look, what were we talking about with Spider-Man? It being on the bottom of a TV screen talking about New Asgard. There you go. There's your continuity dropper right there. You didn't even need anything else. Just boom, something small. So that's what I'm saying. You can do it and it's flawless and it works. You just don't have to force feed people continuity.
Also, the continuity keeper in No Way Home was also having Doctor Strange in there as well.
Oh, for sure. Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, I mean, there are certain. I'm not saying it doesn't work or it's a fail. It's what do you call it? An equation to fail for every franchise or every movie. I'm just saying that when you are doing something standalone, all right. I'll give you another example. Yes, this is going to be a standalone film. Can they tie it into other films? Of course they can. But if they start to do that, then you got Matt Reeves' vision, right? Let's say and going by what this trailer is, not only is it really comic book accurate, but it's also dark. It's darkly toned. Does that fit? And I know it's really not. It's kind of defunct by now, that whole the DCEU itself. But does that tone, like Snyder Cut, does that tone fit the rest of the DCEU? It doesn't. So that's what I'm saying.
But it's not supposed to, though. That's the thing. So when you're coming together, you're not coming together in Gotham. So your world doesn't need to be equally dark. Flash's world is so bright, so colorful, so youthful. So if you're fighting in the Flash's city, no, I don't want your tone to match. I want you to fit to where you are. So if you're doing a Justice League movie and you're fighting in space, I don't need everyone to feel like Batman. I don't need the theme to feel like Batman.
Right.
I just need Batman to feel like Batman. And as long as he does, perfect example, Infinity War. What did the Russo brothers do? They brought in each and every one of the directors from those original projects and said, okay, how would Star-Lord react right now? And James Gunn was like, this is how he would do it. Perfect. At no point did that movie feel like a Guardians movie, like a Thor movie, like an Iron Man movie, like a Cap movie. They took all of everyone's characteristics and just made them stand out in a movie that's about everyone. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Stark didn't take any cuts on who he is. Cap didn't take any cuts. Vision, Wanda. Everyone, T'Challa, everyone felt like their authentic selves, just now in a larger world. So when you take how Batman is, and again, we don't even have to go too far in this because this will never connect to the DCEU. That's Michael Keaton's world now. But if it were to, all you have to do is make sure that if Robert Pattinson is in, why can't I think of Superman City? I'm just completely blanking. Metropolis, thank you. If Bruce is in Metropolis, keep Bruce authentic, but make sure Metropolis still feels like Metropolis. Like,
yeah, of course.
Don't have Bruce arrive and now it's cloudy, dark, rainy. Like, no, now it's a Batman movie. I don't want that. If it's a Superman movie, when Bruce comes, it's still Metropolis. It's still bright. It's still sunny. Everyone's good.
And that's what Snyder did, right? When Affleck was in Metropolis, he made it dark.
No. Here's the problem. He made Metropolis and Gotham sister cities. So if it's raining here, it's raining here. So he just made both worlds.
They were just over the bridge, right?
That's what I'm saying. That was the problem. There was never a separation. So Metropolis felt like this. Gotham felt like that. They felt like the same thing.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if there's only a body of water separating them, it would make sense.
Right. If it's raining here, it's raining here. If it's dark here, it's dark here. Like, you're not going to take a drive and it's magically sunny over there. So that's why I said that was, again, why I do not want Zack's vision anymore. It was super flawed. I appreciated some of the things he did, but something as simple as that, why would you ever do that? Why would it have to be sister cities?
I don't know. Travel time. I have no idea. You know, when with Batman and whatever. I mean, obviously Superman can fly speed of sound, but Batman has to drive.
I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. It could have been a few states away.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That makes sense.
So that's an example of forcing something. And now instead of it feeling like a Superman movie with Batman, it's a Batman movie sprinkled with Superman.
Yeah.
So that's problematic. But that's usually not a problem we see often with Marvel, or even you love Shazam, right? We know, like I said, there was the continuity of Ben's Batarang, the newspaper clipping, and then obviously Superman headless at the end.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, we'll get a perfect example of how you blend the two if the rumors are true and Diana is in Shazam Part 2. If she's in Shazam Part 2, that'll be our best inclination on how two fun worlds merge together.
Hopefully she doesn't have non-consensual sex in this one. Hopefully the guy is lucid and in his own body. That's all I can say. But I do want to wrap this up. Look, again, let's go back to the Bat and the Cat. This trailer alone, loved it. I can't wait for this movie. We only got 3 months? Wait, January, February. Yeah, three more months. What is it? March 11th? When does it come out?
March 13th or something like that. Okay. No, March 1st? Was it March 1st? No.
I thought I saw March 11th. I thought I saw 3/11, but that also could be international.
Do you still have the trailer up?
No.
Oh. Hold on. Wait, shit, I have the poster. I'm looking right at the poster. March 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, March 4th.
It's literally right there, March 4th. Okay,
yeah,
even better.
That's what I'm saying. I literally had it right here, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
And then 45 days from there, it'll be on home release.
Yep.
HBO Max.
Yep.
Which is great.
I will say the one thing that I'm intrigued about the most, Joe, is Riddler looks really, and again, we have to stop calling him Riddler. He's not the Riddler yet. He's Edward.
Hey, they call him the Riddler in the trailer, so we're allowed to.
No. At some point they will get there, but
yeah,
right now,
probably by the end of the film.
Right, he's Nashton. I'm just curious, like, if you ever show the Riddler again, what would his new look? Because
that's
my comic look would look too silly.
I know that. I mean, I'm not opposed to it because that's what we're used to, like the hat and the cane or whatever. But my point is, that's why I worry, and that's why I hope you're right in that it's just the way the trailer was cut to throw us off. That's why I hope he doesn't know the identity of Batman, because I want him to be in a future film. I want this to be the start of their relationship of, villain and hero.
Well, I mean,
if you want Selina to find out, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
It all depends, because to me, if you're doing a trilogy, I never want you to regurgitate something you've already done.
I understand
So
that,
it's
but you
like,
also don't
what
want to kill the Riddler off,
Oh,
though.
no. I don't need him
That's
to
some
die.
Marvel would do.
I don't need. That's all Marvel does. But once you put him in
Arkham.
Arkham, it's for the criminally insane.
Mhm.
So that's why I loved the only thing. Let me preface the
Batman
only
Forever?
thing I loved about Batman Forever is when he's saying it. They think he's so crazy. No one believes it. Bruce Wayne is Batman. You know how stupid you sound.
Well, I
Of
thought
course he-
no. By the time he goes, oh no, if I'm not mistaken, by the time he goes to Arkham, because he from the machine, remember his head gets all big or whatever.
Right, yes.
By the time he goes to Arkham, when he turns around to tell people who Batman is, doesn't he say himself?
Oh, he does. He says, "I am Batman."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But he does know Batman's identity.
He does. Right.
But he just goes so insane from that machine.
Right. I don't need them to do that because that
Right.
is just
Yeah, I
way
hope
too
they
far.
don't do that. But
I mean,
if he is committed to an insane asylum, you know, who's going to take his word for it? But then again, if you're either a cop or whatever, if you could always maybe make the connections. Like, wait a minute, hold
But
on a
I do
second.
like, but that's the one thing I like. I like that the cops are never smart enough to make those connections.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest things that stood out to me in the trailer, I promise this is my last thing, Joe.
Okay, no, fine, you're good.
At the beginning, when she says Bruce Wayne, and he goes, huh? And she goes, you've kind of been doing nothing for this city since you've gotten back.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Thank you for okay, because that was what I was trying to think of. Because I said I wanted to say something, I couldn't remember what it was.
Mhm.
Who is that girl?
She's supposed to be running for obviously the now open seat of I think the DA.
Okay,
Because the DA is whose face was first taped up that we see.
no
now
more
that
lies.
he's dead, there's an opening, and I think she's running for it. That's why she's there. I think
Got
she's
it.
running for it. Who she may be, really, I don't know. But she's supposed to be a new character that Matt Reeves created, and she's running for DA or mayor or something.
Okay,
But what I like was, I like that this Bruce is so hell bent on just being Batman that he really doesn't give a fuck about anything else.
yeah.
So I hope that if someone like Edward finding out who he is makes him go, I need to be seen more. So it's not like, well, maybe Bruce is Batman. We literally never see this motherfucker.
That does make
You know what I'm
sense.
saying? Because I know I said this before. I like the Bruce Wayne that's very isolated. He just wants to be Batman. But I also like when Bruce just pops in to Wayne Enterprise and they're just like, Bruce, you're here? And it's like, yeah, I just stopped by, see what's going on. You guys good? All right.
And if he was really smart, he'd pay somebody to wear the suit.
Well, I also don't need that. But,
No, I mean, we're never going to see that. But you're at a charity event or whatever, and you want to throw off some suspicion, have somebody come in and dress up as Batman while you're there.
I will say the Batman, the animated series, not Batman, the animated series, but the Batman.
Mm-hmm.
When everyone thought Bruce Wayne was Batman, Bruce was standing outside his manor and Alfred was on the roof in the bat suit.
I think I remember seeing that because I remember Batman doing that to some degree, and I couldn't remember who we got.
Yeah,
to,
Alfred looked so fat in that suit, but
Yeah.
from far away, it looked
Yeah.
like Batman. That's hilarious. But
Yeah.
because I do want to see him in Wayne Enterprises because I want to see what a Lucius looks like in this world. I want to see what a young Lucius looks like. I want Lucius to not be as old as Morgan Freeman to Christian Bale was.
Well, are we gonna get a Are we gonna get a Lucius? Only because the only reason why I ask is if he's got the technology for what he's doing now, and I'm not saying you can never use upgrades or or better technology, but for the stuff he's building now, the Batmobile and stuff, it looks like maybe Alfred's giving him help there. Do you even need Lucius?
Well, we always need a Lucius. But I don't know that him and Alfred are the ones that are making all this stuff.
True.
We can assume, sure. We 100% can assume, by all means. But I kind of would like what's his name's Alfred to be more so of just a butler type. Like I got from, even though it was only briefly, I got from Ben's Alfred, the more hands-on Alfred, who's building stuff and can craft stuff, who has that military background. I would kind of like this Alfred to go back to the cloth draped over. Here's your tea. I'm going to talk you out of murdering.
Right.
I love you. That's really it. Here's your tea. Here's your dinner. Because it's the simplicity of that Alfred that I appreciate.
Do you want him to be a former boxer so he can hold his own too?
I don't want any of that really. I mean, I don't really want any of that, if I'm being honest with you.
No, look,
Yeah,
I'm with you on that because look, if he was hired as a butler, right? If he was hired as not just well, he's only a caretaker because the Wayne, the Waynes were shot down.
Right.
But he was hired as a butler. So that means he had to go to butler school. They're highly refined. Not saying that he didn't get into a little trouble when he was a kid, but you want that highly refined, like you said, the draping of the towel, whatever it is, and the white gloves and all that. But yeah, I don't need my Alfred or this Alfred to be the one that's helping him build this or build that or whatever. I wouldn't mind Batman doing himself or him doing like he's starting it, but it's perfected with the Lucius.
Or even if he said, I got original concepts from Lucius over at Wayne Enterprise. And it's like, okay, we don't have to see him, but we know he exists.
Right.
So we know, okay, we can get major upgrades by the next movie from Lucius.
Yes.
Yep. But if what you're saying is true and it is coming from Bruce and Alfred, I don't have a problem with that. It's just, it's like, how some people are used to 007's M being a man?
Yeah.
I love the simplicity of M being a woman in Pierce Brosnan and then Daniel Craig's versions of James Bond. I loved it because it's just like, this feels right. Like, this feels a lot better. This feels cool.
Loved it. I honestly, without Judi Dench, I can't actually, I mean, obviously after her, spoiler alert, after her death in, she didn't die in Skyfall, right? It was Spectre?
It was Skyfall. No, it was Skyfall.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. She died at the end of Skyfall. The end of Skyfall, obviously we get a different M, but Ralph Fiennes.
Yep.
But I preferred her.
Me too.
I did. And I think my first foray into 007, I think I told you this already, was Timothy Dalton's. Because that was around the time I was old enough to watch, or I got into James Bond in 007. So I started with Timothy Dalton. I can't even remember who played. I probably could if I think about it, but I prefer, long story short, I prefer Judi Dench's M.
Me being born in 93, growing up, she was the only M I knew.
Yeah.
So I was very happy that they continue that. So to me, we just saw a different Alfred, right? And we're only used to the butler Alfred.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I was like, okay, when Zach went different, I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I kind of had the feel of that, right? Because I don't need him being able to fight, because I don't ever want to see like Bane come down to like the Batcave and he's throwing punches and Alfred's just like, all right. All right, like, I don't know. I never need that. So I do like the simplicity of, I'm just a butler. Like, I'm just a butler. I know things, but I'm just a butler.
No, I agree. Look, in Keaton and the other ones, because they all had the same Batman, even though we got same Alfred, although we got different Batmans. Right. You had that actor that played Alfred, which is the one that you're kind of alluding to, that, that refined older butler. Michael Caine sort of was on the, he was, but he wasn't. Like, I think he held his own in Batman Begins, if I'm not mistaken, when he was trying to get rid of some of the people, the goons, when the mansion was burning down.
He also did have an ex, like not necessarily military, but he had a different back. In the comics, Alfred does usually have a military background, and that's where Thomas found him. So it wasn't necessarily like a butler school, but it was more so of like, you saved me. I trust you to watch over my son, but I can't tell my son, hey, this ex-military guy is just going to look over you. Yeah. So it was more so just like a butler. You're just my butler.
And that makes sense. So, and then if you go to the Gotham series, that's where I was going to with the guy, former boxer, holding his own. I don't necessarily need that. Yeah. So I'm in agreement with you. Yeah. So we're hyped. Can't wait. Less than 3 months away. You only got just two months in like a week.
I'm gonna watch this movie so many fucking times.
I'm gonna watch this film so hard.
Oh, goodness gracious, yes. I'm gonna scare people as I'm walking into the theater.
I know. I meant like I was gonna stare at the screen hard. I didn't mean I was gonna be. No, who knows? Hey,
I'm gonna do both.
I mean, we got Zoe Kravitz in it being playing Selina Kyle, so who knows?
I won't even be able to get past Batman to get to her. But yes, just seeing Batman in all his glory will just.
I know. No, I know. Look, visually, like like we said, visually, the last few trailers have been great. The score that we've been getting, although it's been pretty much the same song, that one song by Nirvana, mixed in with some of the score though as well.
I was about to say doom,
No.
doom,
Dun,
doom,
dun,
doom,
dun, dun. No, I know. I
Oh.
love that, dude. I love it. I actually tried getting that for a ringtone. It's
Bro,
not.
you have no idea how many times I've tried that.
It's not available. You have to make it yourself.
I even tried the old school thing where you just hold it up to the TV, record it, and
Oh yeah. I remember doing that. I remember, dude. I used to do that for voicemail recordings anyway too.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right, guys. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you thought, not only of this trailer but the other trailers in the comments. What are some of your theories? We did speak about the possibility of the Riddler being what do you call Bruce's half brother, whether by the father or the mother, either way, and a few other things. And of course, do you think that, or do you like the fact that we might get Edward knowing Bruce's real identity, possibly, or I should say Batman's real identity, possibly, or maybe even possibly Selina Kyle. So we'll see, because we do know that they do get into a relationship at one point. So is it going to be this quick? Is it going to come too soon? We're going to find out in March.
I would if I was in his situation. I 100% would.
Yeah, we're going to find out in March. Hopefully this recording wasn't too bloated. Wasn't too long. We did veer off track a little bit, but
a wee bit.
For the most part, we stuck to. Well, I mean, we at least stuck to DC, right?
We didn't veer. Well, we did talk
sometimes, yeah. And Marvel,
yeah, and Marvel,
and
Marvel too. We threw some stuff in there.
But that's what happens. Look, that's what happens when you talk comic book movies. It invokes conversation. It invokes, talking about this and talking about that, and then an hour later, you're down a rabbit hole. And you're trying to claw out. And I think we did. I think we made it out of the hole.
The fact that this isn't an hour means we clawed out.
Well, it's pretty close to it. It's 52 minutes. All right, guys. Please like the stream. Subscribe if you haven't. I will have Jawan's link to his YouTube channel in the description. So go and check his YouTube channel out as well. Show him some love. We got a couple of streams coming out on my channel on Friday, so stay tuned for that. And Jawan, you got anything you want to plug really quick on yours?
Yeah, we're doing Book of Boba review tonight.
Okay.
8 o'clock. Well, if you're watching this tomorrow, we did do our Boba review.
Yeah, I'm gonna as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna probably upload it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this will probably be aired, depending on how quick this downloads, sometime tonight. I'll work on that as soon as I get out of here, and upload and paste all your info and get it out for the YouTube community.
Appreciate it.
Probably gonna miss us, I think. And then so I got a couple of streams on Friday the 31st. Got to say the date and day, just so because this is recorded, so you do know. So yeah, Friday I got at the moment got the Book of Boba Fett review and the Matrix Resurrections. I'm not really sure if I want to do that yet, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Matrix Resurrections spoiler review, but we will be doing, at least on my channel on Friday, Book of Boba Fett reaction spoiler. So, all right, Jawan, I will see you soon. I will talk to you soon. And everybody else, guys, if I don't see you, if you don't stop by the channel before then, please have a happy and safe New Year. And I will see everybody really soon. Or at least you'll see me.